Well, so we know we have to do a review of the newspapers. Mama Viosa Bwaje is here. She's related to the lady doing the poem. You're not? I'm surprised.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, dear.
Yeah.
And how's your weekend?
Somewhere, but Charlie, it's been good. It's been okay.
Yeah.
I am learning to be grateful, you know, for every tiny little thing that happens to you. You've got to be grateful.
Somebody's
I was listening to
Reverend
Ransford Abose this morning on Joy FM, and I realized that, listen,
I
am guilty of a lot of things. Like, even when you say, how are you? Like, how was your weekend? I'm sitting here alive and well.
And then
I say, somewhere, then I say, Charlie, come see, come sa.
Charlie,
it is well.
Yeah, it is.
It was good.
It has to be gringo.
Yeah.
It has to be gringo.
And I'm learning to, you know, when they say count your blessings, name them one by one. He was sharing the story of Solomon. Maybe we'll get into it another time.
And this one, my motivation was about making use of the times and season. And I believe that you're only just making use of your times and season. There'll be a time when you have enough time to rest, for which you don't even want to rest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe that at some point within that time that you're sleeping or resting, you'd want to wake up.
Yeah.
Except that you won't be able to.
Yeah, your body just makes you.
So why do we even complain? If you get 4 hours of sleep, and so what? You know? Right. Somebody's like sleeping forever and they wish they had that time that you had.
But there's something I've always been thinking about, though. The thing is, we all strive to get all the things of the world.
Yeah.
And when we get them to, because maybe we don't want to have enough fat around the body, we don't want to enjoy what we have. And sometimes too, even by the time you have it, maybe you are too old or weakling, you're watching your health, and you can't overindulge.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
it's
kind of some wishy-washy, some dicey situation.
You know, the fact also is that you can't just sit there and say you won't do anything. You know,
unless you're dead.
Yeah.
So once you're alive, you have to do something.
And you can't predict when you're going to go. Otherwise, you probably save and spend within the time that you're alive. But you can't say that.
Yeah, so I know, right?
That's life. Life is a mystery.
Yeah, it is a mystery.
But let's live it and let's enjoy it.
I like
no
you
matter
this
the
one. You're sounding very philosophical. Well, what challenges? Is it the Abose preaching? So?
I just want to be, grateful. That's all. Be grateful, and I think the message is like those who are grateful are graceful.
Right.
True, so eventually you're going to be.
If you're grateful,
and it's the grace of God. If I have nothing and I've got the grace of God, I know that I have everything. That's all I need to go through.
Awesome.
So we hope that, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, you still count your blessings, because there's so many things that you can be grateful about. The fact that you're just alive, the fact that you are awake this morning, that means a lot. There's somebody somewhere who needs what you have, what you are capable of doing this morning, but they don't have that. So just for that reason, be grateful and begin to count your blessings. Now, let's do the newspapers. I'm counting my blessings in so many ways because, Hearts of Oak, we won that game right there in Kumasi against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And that's all I am looking at. Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Another man who is normal. Who is, allowing international media and the world around to focus on us is this man, Classy Dogboy. His name is Isaac Dogboy. He won the WBO title, and he is on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. He's getting a lot of people focus attention on us. Sadly, I don't think that we've given him that kind of attention really in Ghana, and we've got to begin to celebrate him because he's a great boxer. And he's an amazing guy. That story, Daily Graphic says page 123. I'm on page 123, and I don't see the way story there. But it's a heavy paper this morning, so I'm sure the story will
it's been laced with a lot of Mayday messages, because I'm not sure they'll be coming out tomorrow. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Or even if they will, maybe they have more, so they have to start from today.
Okay, so let's see, on the front page of the Daily Graphic still, UNICEF Executive Director commends President for free SHS. President Akufo-Addo with Henrietta Fori, the UNICEF Director General, in a handshake, and a chat on the front page of the paper. Policeman civilian busted for robbery Work on Afari 500-bed military hospital in progress. Also withdraw unqualified student. NAB directs technical universities. Kwame Date is executive secretary of NAP, and his pictures on the front page of the paper story says an audit conducted by the National Accreditation Board has revealed that many students of the technical universities do not have the necessary qualification to study at the tertiary level. The NAB has therefore written to the affected institutions to withdraw all students whose grades did not meet the requirements for admission. Quote, some of the technical universities fall foul of ensuring that only qualified students are offered admission to their institutions, unquote. And this is from the executive secretary of NAB, Kwame Date, who told the Daily Graphic. He did not mention the names of the technical universities, though, but he said the affected technical universities were required to withdraw the unqualified students since they did not meet the requirements for admission. There's a deadline that's been given. There's more background to the story, including the entry requirements, maybe all in the story. Put together by Emmanuel Bonney in Accra, is on page 3 in the Daily Graphic newspaper. If you are in any of the technical universities, you might want to check your qualifications that gain you entry in the first place, because if it is, you know, not the right qualification, that's because it's a technical universities. You may have to probably rewrite some papers and do that registration again
in time,
okay.
Before the National Accreditation Board comes.
So can you defer and work on the qualifications?
I think they have to. I think they have to come.
It puts what you've done, you know, like as
null
if you didn't do anything.
And then I think that the National Accreditation Board will have to sit down with the management to see how they can, because we always talk about people may not have all the grades, but they're very good at certain aspect of the subjects that they offer.
But there are always rules, and when there are rules and regulations, and when you begin to bend them, then you have to continue to do it.
Well, I do understand that.
I go with, if we've got rules, let's follow the rules.
True.
But somebody has also somebody must also pay, because imagine if I'm in level 200, you know, and I've paid all these school fees throughout.
Have you encountered that situation before?
No, I haven't. I'm just saying that people should be.
I'm not saying you. I mean, have you sat in class with people who
people should in the line should be punished. I mean, most of these things are usually administrative, and you may never know. You probably sit in a class with somebody who came through whatever means, but you may never know. I'm just saying that. I mean, instead of punish the students, the student who went through the process, nobody stopped them along the line. They got admission duly, they got the letter and everything, they pay the school fees, and they've been in the school for a year, 2 or even 3, and suddenly you say that you didn't come through with the right qualifications, so we're asking you to go back and start the entire process. I'm just saying that you can do that, you know, which is in line, but the person who also admitted them should be punished so that they don't repeat that next time. Otherwise, they should be made to give them back their school fees with interests.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
On page 3, hey, as for today, okay,
it's
the story is here. 16, it
is
packed.
They are not conforming to the rules.
NCCE, the story is on page 17. NCCE marks Constitution Week, focuses on public accountability and security. But there's a policeman at the Akuse District Command and a civilian who've been arrested by the Akuse police in connection with an alleged robbery at the Star Fuel Station as Okwenya near Somanya in the eastern region. The police suspect Corporal Gasti Yakia Seidu, who is 37, and a civilian accomplice Seth Ponyo Doji, 35, a fuel station attendant at Sra, a suburb of Somanya, have been handed over to the Eastern Region Police Command in Koforidua for further investigations. Briefing the Daily Graphic at Akuse last Friday, the Akuse District Police Commander Superintendent Winfred Asarinyako said on March 26, 2018, the station had information that there had been a robbery at the Star Fuel Station on the Akuse Somanya Road. The command quickly detailed some personnel to the crime scene, but the robbers had fled before they arrived at the scene. So it continues that the police saw that a shelf at the fuel station where the sales were kept had been broken into, and 40,000 Ghana cedis, being the sales for the day, had been taken. Alleged robbers also said to have stormed the supermarket of the fuel station and taken away an unspecified number of assorted drinks and provisions. Well, they did a search, and it led to these gentlemen. Well, these guys who are also alleged to be involved in another robbery. You can read the details of that is on page 16 in the Daily Graphic newspaper of today. But the bit about this week being a Constitution Week, it says the National Commission for Civic Education started the celebration of this year's Constitution Week from April 28 to May 4, 2018 across the country, with a focus on public accountability and the security agencies. So the theme is Our Heritage, Consolidating Ghana's Democratic Gains, and the sub-theme is Accountability and Transparency. The week-long activities hinge on 3 pillars, namely education on anti-corruption, enhanced public accountability, Ghana, and environmental governance. So we look forward to the NCC and its activities in terms of these focused areas so that we can all learn one or two. Center spread, Roland was right. May Day, Workers' Day of Unity and Solidarity. Why May Day? If you've been thinking, you still don't know, well, center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper, and there's a Happy Workers' Day from ARB Apex Bank. So center spread is all about Workers' Day tomorrow. The day is tomorrow, by the way. For most people, we don't even care why the day. All we care about is the fact that it's a holiday. You're not working, you're not in school. I think it'll be good to learn about why tomorrow is a holiday. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. One of my favorite news coming from the weekend. Hearts silence Kotoko. Not in Accra, but in Kumasi. That's big, really. Except that we're still not climbing up. We're still down there. Oh, but now we're up 2 places. Kotoko is lower than us. That's all I need. Inter-allies walk over dwarfs. I beg, if you want to send me a message and bash me because I'm hot, keep it, because I won't even read it. Wafa Thrash Dreams. These are the sports stories on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Over to you. I know you're not doing any Kotoko stories.
No. Yeah,
but what went wrong? There was no cheating.
Oh, it's normal.
It was a no referee cheated for us,
normal.
right?
Yesterday, the Man U match was, of course,
2-1.
against Man U.
No, against Arsenal. There was a late late score.
You had the pool scored the 90th. I thought you were Arsenal.
It was 90th. Oh.
Oh.
No, it was us. Sorry.
Daily Guide. Let's do Daily Guide. It's one of the most important papers in Ghana. NDC lies exposed. No gay marriage, Nana. We also have oil conference opens in Texas. You have a picture there of Hassan Tampoli, who is a CEO for the National Petroleum Authority. A red card for Bugre Nabu. This story is fascinating. He went into, prior to the election,
in a wheelchair.
They had towed the car to the frontages of the Tamale Stadium. That's where they were going to do that's the Aliu Mahama Stadium. Then the day when he was coming, he was in a wheelchair, like you said. And then when he lost, he went.
Did he really?
He walked without the wheelchair.
He rose, like he stood on his feet. Did you see that? Because that's the speculation.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a wheelchair, so.
I saw the picture of him in a wheelchair.
I
didn't. So
I've seen videos of him walking while the event was over.
For real?
Yeah. Video, yeah.
But the fact that he got there in a wheelchair, he didn't tell anybody he couldn't walk, did he?
No, he never told. And then there's this quote that is circulating on social media about a comment coming from one of the delegates who claimed that when they saw him in a wheelchair, they thought, wow, they couldn't have elected somebody who they wanted who was not fit or strong because he needed to recuperate. As a result of that, they decided to vote for somebody who was well.
You want to believe that?
Yeah.
Charlie, but they're trolling. Hey!
If he was social media savvy, I think he wouldn't have gone to the networks on any day from now. But
I think it's because even though he was, is he still?
I thought he was popular.
Or he was.
He was chairman.
He was.
Now they have a new chairman.
Even though he was a chairman for a region, which is unusual that you become like a national headline, or people will get to talk about you, people even get to know you and even know your name, which is a bit unusual. But it's also because of the kind of things that he said in the past, you know. So
yeah,
we all know him.
Yeah,
we all know him.
I think he became infamous for.
There was the car gifts.
Yeah, the car gift. The car, we don't know whether it has been returned or has never been returned.
Yeah, and then the money as
money
well.
Issue for which,
and then
when you align the stories, there
was Otiko Jaba, and then there was
the last one was the letter he wrote to the president, so-called, saying that he felt that people within the party, in the region, outside the region, wanted him to lose the election, etc. But you know, sometimes I think he should have rather gone more on a strategy of communicating, trying to get himself retained, and going that way.
Master, what will happen? What happen?
Anyway.
What will happen? Anyway, it has happened. There's somebody who's celebrating his birthday, by the way. Pius Paramak in Ho. You're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Pius. Enjoy your day today. Let's do the New Crusading Guide newspaper. Front page of the New Crusading Guide. Esiedun Ketias Gaff wallows in politics of lies with gay claims. Magdan Group wins Best Entrepreneur of the Year. And then the billboards are out. Anas again. Okay, what is this one about? African leaders must seek peace, prosperity. President Akufo-Addo saying there. And C4C partners ECCH to provide quality, affordable healthcare delivery. You might want to know what all of that is about. You can figure it out in the paper. But let's see. Let's first deal with this Esiedun Ketia issue. It says the General Secretary of the Opposition NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has indeed exhibited to the entire nation his inability to wind himself from the age of politics of lies as he continues to peddle falsehood against his bid to win cheap political points for his party, which is struggling to wake from the heavy defeat of 2016. I want to believe this is like a feature or something of a sort. But the point where I wanted to get to is the fact that speaking at the party's unity walk in Kumasi in the Ashanti region last Saturday, he claimed President Akufo-Addo in the 2016 elections promised Ghanaian youths marriage that, quotes, "Now you know what is coming," he asked rhetorically. "I won't talk about it." But later at the same event falsely alleged that Nana-Addo says men will marry men and women will marry women, unquote. I think this is the statement that's gotten the presidency to react, to say that the president has not given any such assurance. And I'll read the full statement to you in a bit when I get to pull it up. But I'm also looking for Anas's story because there's an advertisement on the front page of the paper, and I'm curious because it says the billboards are out, and that's again, and I don't know what that is about, but I'm not sure I can find the story.
Premiering his one of the latest documentary he has, investigative.
So I was hoping to get a write-up on it in the paper, and I'm still looking for it, but I'm not sure I see it. I would look for it later and see if I can find anything like that, Roland.
Okay, so we do the Ghanaian Times. Today there's no center spread for the daily guide because they have a lot of advertorials and all that. So let's go to the Ghanaian Times. Dog Boy, crowned world champion. Page 31 is where the story is. So we have to go there. You go to page 31. It says Ghanaian mandatory challenger Isaac Dog Boy turned a shaky start into what turned out to be one of the glorious moments in his blossoming boxing career. Charlie, Ghanaian journals can use words. And when he stopped and betrothed world champion Jesse Magdaleno to become the king at the WBO super bantamweight division, and really, it's not reminiscent of the days of Azuma and Nelson, because even though now we can get access to this. The matches or the footages easily, the euphoria is still not the same. I don't know why. Those days we only had GTV, but now we have a lot of them. You can even stream, etc. But Charlie, it's difficult. you know, it's difficult. So not many people watch the match live. And then we also have other stories on the front page. Is baseless lies, presidency refutes claim, and it's about gay marriage approval, and it's on page 16. And this was captured in the Daily Guide as well. But let me just read to you what the story says. It's also about a statement that was published, and the Ghanaian Times seem to have done it again. It's not on page 16. Oh, it is on page 16. Rather, they have a special pullout on May Day. Oh, okay. That's good. So it said the presidency has refuted claims that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has approved same-sex marriage in the country, and the Director of Communications, Eugene Ahin, reacting to the claim made by the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, in a statement, said Mr. Siedu's comments were baseless lies purported to deceive the good people of Ghana. And he says the president never said he will do that. There's nothing but a baseless and vile fabrication by no less a person than the General Secretary of the leading opposition party of Ghana. And so for the avoidance of that, President Akufo-Addo has never stated anywhere that under his presidency, men will marry men and women will marry women. No, it's been a debate. It's just that the president has not made categorical, you know, sometimes.
But the statement, that's why I said I will try and pull the statement. I think the statement is straight to the point.
Yeah,
it emphasizes
that the
a lot of things that, you know, just to clear your minds. And I'm trying to look for it. I would read it when I find it. In the meantime, you're through?
Yeah, I think, okay, I have UNICEF comments, President for Free SHS, seek peace, prosperity for masses. President urges African leaders. And those basically are the stories. Back page, we have the sports stories there. Benedict also come here to give you the rest. Let's go, let's move on.
To give you a playback of the 1-0.
Let's move on. I'm not sure we have the footages, so that's a good thing.
We'll have it in pictures. Let's do the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder. UNICEF laud's Free SHS, says it curtails teenage pregnancy, maternal deaths, young brides. Isn't it too early for something like this to be said? Let's do page 2. The executive director of the United Nations International Children's Fund has commended the president for introducing the free senior high school policy. Greatest gift you can give to a family and a girl. Henrietta Holtzman Foray said, if I may pay homage to President Akufo-Addo, having free secondary school is probably the greatest gift you can give to a family and a girl. It then encourages the girl not to be considered lesser in her family, and it encourages her to go to school, she added. So she was speaking on Friday at a high-level event to mark the achievement of the Education Above All Foundation to enroll 10 million children to receive quality primary school education across the world. Now, this is the point where I feel it's perhaps too early. It says the UNICEF executive director explained that if a girl can go to school, then there are so many other benefits. There are health benefits. She does not become a young mother and become a young bride. But this is where I beg to differ. There are people who are still in school who still come out pregnant and who are still married off. So I guess in the absence of any solid survey, particularly where it's coming from, we need something to back it.
Okay,
Otherwise,
let me just add this to the Bugre Nabu story.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was on social media. They've added a tinge of some mischief. I just have this message. It says that he came in a V8 and walked with the help of his aides, but he couldn't stand to deliver his speech, so a wheelchair was given to him to sit on.
Oh, okay. So then it would not be strange that afterwards he was on his feet.
Yeah.
Or something else.
Maybe the defeats gave him more strength to be able to walk back to.
Okay. I don't know if I still understand. I'm not sure.
I mean, he came in with into the stadium in his car, but during the speech, maybe the speech was long. You know, the candidates are giving the time to speak to
because
the
he's
delegate.
still very much recovering. We get that.
Yeah.
So he has to sit in a wheelchair.
During that period, he sat in a wheelchair.
Okay, the person who helped you, can he also help? How did he move from the V8 to?
No, he was helped. He was helped. I think they helped him walk.
No, are you saying it or that's what he said?
I think that may be the video that I saw then.
I want like somebody who was there to give me. So that my next question would be, No, I won't
I don't
ask
know
my
whether
next
we can
question.
pull the video out.
I won't ask my next question. Let the person who was there give you, and then I'll ask the next question. So, how did he get out of that vehicle to where he was supposed to sit?
No, he was held by his aides.
So the point where we're told he stood after the defeat, was he helped?
No. Well,
you see
yeah,
where I'm getting to. Okay, so
Charlie,
please let's learn step by step.
Charlie, the man has lost already. Let's leave it.
Massa, he's boogering now, but that's big. Whether he's lost or not, we want to find out. Let's do.
But I'm thinking you don't change your winning team. I know it's a contest.
Which one is that?
No, but he was a chairman that.
But are you within the party? Do you live in the place
No,
where
no,
he
no,
was
no,
chairman?
no, not necessarily.
So on what basis are you saying what you're saying?
No, I know it's a contest.
Maybe they
but
find
but
other
I'm
people who are
thinking-
more capable. Besides, who says elections are always won by people who are absolutely capable? Let's continue with the stories on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Increasing minimum capital while CD falls is not wise, according to an expert. We're still in the Finder. Amewu criticizes former President Mahama over Galamsey comments. Stop chasing illegal miners with soldiers. Mahama to government. So that's the comment that's gotten the minister also reacting to. You can catch up with all that in the Finder. NPA tells or taps India expertise for cylinder recirculation. These are the stories you'd find and more in the Finder newspaper. Roland, let's do the Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch newspaper front page. Canada, Japan on anger against NPP in Ashanti region. Blame your Ashanti appointees, not Ekufuado. And then the battle on gays in Ghana. 4 Amwani takes on Rekubrobe. And Mr. Rekubrobe, you know what he says? He's not speaking. Oh, he's not speaking. He'll tell you, go and read my posts. CDS wants illegal miners. And visit Argo Homes' Jubilee House financiers likely to sabotage NPP MPs in Greater Accra. That story is on page 2. Let me understand this a bit more. So some individuals at the presidency are likely to use newly elected Greater Accra regional chairman of the NPP, Divine Agohom, to destabilize some members of parliament. Poster Benef Singh has said. Oh, okay. So you can check out why he's saying what he said and the background to it in the paper, the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Roland?
Well, so we have to look at the Finder. The Finder has a...
The Finder?
No, the Today newspaper has on the front page, Rollins whips for NDC, and we know that he's talking about the ongoing local level elections, and he feels that the party is not uniting those that have been aggrieved because his office has been getting some reports. They've been petitioning his office to intervene, thinking or saying that the elections that were convened at that's the branch elections, were fraught with some.
Well, is the unity work not doing the unity?
Well, the unity is doing it at the top, but at the down, raising concerns. So he says the party needs to address it. And then we have government breaks silence on same-sex marriage. MPP dumps Nabu for some. And Mrs. Indomanet. So those are the stories we have. Mamavi, basically that'll be it. But we have the Business and Financial Times. Have we done it?
No.
Okay, it has on the front page, cement imports from China. They top it all. It's on page 3. It says Chinese cement is the most popular import into the country, whereas China remains the foremost destination for the country's top export crude oil. Chinese cement imports, according to a new PricewaterhouseCoopers report strengthening Africa's gateway to trade, was in excess of some 3 million tons, taking up at least 23% of all imports through Ghana's seaports at Tema and Takoradi in 2015. The country in 2015 imported some 3.26 million tons of cement, of which more than 92% was shipped from the Far East country, said the report, which also provided in detail features and prospects for the country's seaports. The huge import figures recorded for cement point to a booming construction sector, which according to the Ghana Statistical Service was the largest subsector of the industry in 2015, with a growth rate of some 30.6% and some 14.8% of GDP. But that's a concern because if we're having cement imports coming from China, they're dominating the imports. Charlie? Africa, or Ghana. What can we do ourselves?
We can do all things through Christ.
Is it our own chicken in Ghana that are they from Ghana?
Listen, we're capable of doing a lot of things.
Yeah, we are capable. That's the whole point.
Except that,
and the word
we know what it is. Let's stick to what we absolutely know, right? Let's read some of your messages, because some of you have been sending us messages. And somebody says, I like your motivation this morning, and thanks for acknowledging our darling club, Hats of Oak. Teddy in Boja say, phobia, Charlie, ask for phobia, but you don't have to praise them too much, because, you know, the next game, they kind of backfire. This one says, Davis. Okay, Davis is bigging us up on WhatsApp. Well, thank you very much, Davis. And this one says, good morning. University admission is not straightforward. You apply with your results, and the onus is on you to provide your true results. Sometimes results are released days before admissions begin, and by 2 weeks, students must be in school. The numbers do not make it possible to check results before. If later you're found to have lied on your application form, what do you expect the university to do? You're admitted based on trust and warned that if found out, you would go home. Remember, there is a crime of deceiving a public officer. Adam from UCC, and I think that your explanation to this makes a lot of sense.
But for me, perhaps I can.
But I'm not sure everybody would fall into this.
I can come in. I can come in with a caveat. Maybe what this is indicating was that in circumstances in which the results were forged, or perhaps not, the school's not getting informed about the right results.
Or they admit
maybe then this explanation could work.
They admit you awaiting.
This one they admit them, knowing that you within the first 2 years you can better your results. And I've known credible private institutions that have done that.
Okay, so that's another angle. It makes it 3.
Okay.
So they admit you.
They admit you, saying that maybe you didn't get
so work
a
on
science or an English. Work on it while.
Is that right?
According to the National Accreditation Board rules, no.
Because at the point when they are admitting you, you must be duly qualified.
Yes, you must fall within the bracket. Yeah.
I don't know. There are a lot of things that we're doing.
Most of the private
right.
schools do that.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that we're not doing right.
But
so depending on the category where you fall, I think that you should be able to bring up some kind of action against the person who admitted you and took school fees for 2 years or 3 years when they knew really that you were not qualified to be in the school.
Because I've had some friends, some female friends who went to a nursing school, proper university, well recognized. It's a private university though. And then at the time that they completed and wanted to write their licensure, I think at that time they had now gotten their papers.
Okay.
So the Nurses Registry Council or something of the sort would not admit them to write their licensure because at the time of entry into the school, they didn't have the papers. You know, so that also brought admission issues and things like that. But they had gotten the papers by the time they had finished school. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
By the time of entry into school,
they didn't have it.
Yeah, because the council will will have an assessment of all those things.
Which was, I guess, the essential requirement to even gain entry in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. So, but at the end of the day, they went through the courses all right. They did very well. Performed better. Though they could have performed better with the licensure.
But you still skipped something.
Some of them ultimately wrote the licensure because they came into some discussion with the university. Yeah. And for those who had, they wrote it, they passed very well, like any other student. Yeah. But I don't know. But I don't know what pertains in other jurisdiction. For those who fall short, what kind of remediative actions or packages or programs are available for such students? Because I don't think that everybody who fills certain papers somewhere in the West are denied access to some sort of education. Sometimes they have some pre-uni.
But even here,
sometimes
we're not denied.
Sometimes they have some pre-uni programs for them to beef
here,
up.
Roland, to be fair, we're not denied. When you fail, you rewrite.
Well, I know.
Otherwise, what you get could also gain you admission elsewhere. So there are quite a number of us who go through different channels to arrive at
where we
we
have to
ultimately, yeah, it's either you want to rewrite or you want to go and do a diploma where, you know, your qualification will be accepted, and then
from
afterwards
there you
go
can
and
use
do a
that.
first degree and that kind of thing. You know, it's just opening yourself up and asking questions and knowing what is available. I don't know what pertains elsewhere, but I think that with respect to what we have in Ghana, I think we have quite a number of options for people who don't readily make the grades. There are so many things that you can do.
We've all been short one way or the other in some of those things. You just have to find a way.
Definitely. This one says, good morning. In fact, the professors are to be blamed.
You should be a very good counselor. I don't know why sometimes you don't advise me well on many of the issues.
Blamed qualified students who are given fee paying, which parents cannot afford, whereby unqualified students enter. Neck Kote near KNUST. No, I mean, that could also be. I mean, there are so many factors.
I'm saying that what I know in other jurisdictions is that people may fall short at the pre-tertiary level, but before they make entry into that school, they are giving some pre-uni. You go through something that qualifies you to make the entry.
And I'm saying that.
So you don't necessarily have to go rewrite.
And I'm saying that if you took your time to also ask questions,
then you find out
from
ways
our
around
institutions, you realize that there's something there like that available somewhere. You just have to ask questions.
I like it.
This one, we have got lots of messages. Roland, don't interrupt. Let me read as many messages as I can.
Please read. I will not interrupt.
So somebody says, why not a chair, but rather wheelchair? Oxy, you're asking us questions. You and I were not there. You're talking about Bugri Nabu now. This one
okay, so if the explanation was that, please read more, so that I think around what you...
This message says, hey, Charlie, if you send me long messages, it will be difficult. Let me take this opportunity to express my dissatisfaction on another government intention to employ well-qualified trained nurses under youth employment, which they brand NAPCO. It's still early to reverse this shameful policy. Or else 2020 is just at the corner. Perhaps it's because you probably don't understand the scheme well. So we'll discuss this on our show and to see if, you know, you buy into it or not. Kofi says, please ask mining minister whether he has won the fight on illegal mining. Other Africans have access to a mining policy, but it hasn't been launched and citizens are not aware of this policy. Kofi is saying, this one says, the defeat of Bugri Nabo will give NDC chance to win come 2020 because the man used to help the party too much. What you know, we don't know. Quickly, let's do online. Then we'll come back with more of your... Roland, I said don't interrupt. Let's do myjoyonline.com and then I'll tell you some stories that are making headlines outside. We'll do Zimbabwe and then we'll do the Philippines. So Roland, let's do that. Roland, let's do myjoyonline.com. Rollins Lords champion Dogboe, former President Jerry John Rawlings, has congratulated Isaac Dogboe for winning the WBO Super Bantamweight title over the weekend. And I hear he's the second African to have done this. There was a South African who did it, and now Ghana. And the focus is on Ghana. This is big. This is huge.
And we're not celebrating
to Zoom as well. Because, you know, Azuma Nelson has definitely been on his side throughout. So this is a big win for us in Ghana. 19 years of Asante Henne's reign on the Golden Stool. Last Thursday, April 26, 2018, marked 19 years of the coronation of Asante Henne Otumfuo Setso II as the 16th occupant of the Golden Stool. We say congratulations to Asante Mine and Otumfuo. Standard Chartered poised for world-class banking digital services in Kumasi. Also, picking lyrics from the Bible doesn't make a gospel. Life coach was Kevin Allen. Tell it to them. You can read more on it on myjoyonline.com. AIDS Commission intensifies door-to-door HIV testing. We've got a conversation on this. It's interesting. I mean, what kind of strategy is this? And this will definitely, I mean, this is one of them strategies that just when you hear, you know it's going to work. Door-to-door services.
Everything door-to-door works. Because when you bring services to the people, then they know that they have no option than to access those services and have no other excuses. Yeah,
but also because HIV is such a topic that people, you know, if you had it, you didn't want to talk about it openly. So if you have a service that is personalized, I mean, that's more conducive. That's you know, you couldn't ask for anything better. Kaswa Soap, 130 suspected criminals arrested, 3 on wanted lists. Kolebo CEO, Magdan Boss, others pick up awards. ABBA announces first new music since 1982. And I can't believe the last time they did this, some of us were not even born. Okay, so this is good for us, those of us who didn't see the making of their albums. Don't be local champions, Omnibank MD to entrepreneurs. Mahama mocks NPP, says party has let Ghanaians down. And in Takwa, policeman shot dead by robbers. That's the policeman who was escorting, we're told, an Indian businessman, and then he was shot dead. You can read about the details on myjoyonline.com. And then we've got lots of other stories on myjoyonline.com, but we want to bring you, you know, around the world, some other news that we've picked up, but we thought stories of interest. Let's start off in the Philippines, because this is a subject that we're very familiar with. In Philippines, we told the president, Rodrigo Duterte, said on Sunday that a ban on Filipino workers from heading to Kuwait, that's been in effect since February, would now be permanent, inflaming a dispute sparked by complaints of the abuse of Filipino housemates and workers in the Persian Gulf country. So they're banning permanently new domestic helpers to Kuwait. And this we are faced with this as well. We're not taking this kind of measure, but they have, because a domestic helper was killed sometime. So that's the action. But we're told that families allow their family members to make the trip because of the financial benefits, you know, that comes their way as well. Because people go and hustle there and they send money back home so they can use to take care of their families.
Yeah, true.
So they're not sure exactly how they're going to take this. It's hard, but Charlie, is the only way that we can survive. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's make another stop at Zimbabwe. And this is, again, something that we haven't done in Ghana, even though we talk about it. But in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe, in terms of the countries, become the second African country to legalize marijuana for medicinal and scientific purposes. The country's health minister said in a government notice that individuals and businesses would be able to apply for licenses to cultivate cannabis for medicinal or scientific use. The 5-year license will also clear growers to possess, transport, and sell fresh cannabis, cannabis oil, and dried products. Production and possession for marijuana in Southern Africa was previously punishable by 12 years jail term. So before you could be punished, but now you can just apply and get a license and say you're using it for medicinal purposes.
I know, right?
People are thinking, Ghana, let's follow this. But I tell you what, one of the reasons Zimbabwe is doing this is so they can make money, because, you know, they need money.
But Ghana, we also need money.
It's true.
And if we want to do in Ghana, I know areas in Ashanti, the farm areas in the Volta region, the Wasai area, what is it? Western.
I'm sure.
And Tampe, Igbo.
Narcotics Control Board is saying, you people talk about this, talk about it, push them. Let us get another direction, because we know people are growing it anyway.
So they are going to drink legal shocker. You know legal shocker?
What's that?
Shocker.
What's that?
Okay,
You've got a confession? We don't have any break to take.
No, me, I've great.
Yeah?
What do you say?
Roland, are you on something this morning? Well, stay with us. We've got lots of your messages that we will share in the course of the program. We've got to make way. Let's bring you sports. Lots of action. We're talking about Isaac Dogbo. We're celebrating him for an amazing win.
Chelsea too.
He's a champion.
Chelsea too.
We're not talking Chelsea. Who cares? We're talking those who right now look like they're going to the Champions League. And if you want emphatic, those who are making it really is Manchester City. They've won their 30th game, I think. And of course, Manchester United, we've booked the spots. But we're also talking about us now, because maybe not. We're talking Barcelona, because they're also champions. We're not talking Chelsea. Who are they really? Where are they on the table? Stay with us.